Thank you guys for being here. Again, Delta State will open up Saturday against Tarleton State University. Kickoff is 2 o'clock. The game will be played at Cleveland Central High School, Sellers Field. Again, the Statesmen and Tarleton State playing for the third time in series history. The Statesmen are 2-0 against Tarleton State all time. Last meeting came in Coach Cooley's first season here at Delta State back in 2013, a 38-36 victory over the Texans. Tarleton State picked to finish fifth in the Lone Star Conference preseason rankings. The Statesmen picked sixth in the Gulf South Conference preseason standings as well. A little different format today for us. Coach Todd Cooley is going to come up, take your questions. Following Coach Cooley, Coach Joel Williams and Coach Jerry Partridge will also take a couple of minutes to talk about offensive and defensive sides respectively. With that, I'll bring Coach Cooley up. He'll make an opening statement. We'll see y'all Saturday.
Appreciate everybody being here. Obviously excited to kick off the season. I want to thank community, and I want to thank Cleveland Central High School and their administration for opening their doors so that this game could be played in Cleveland, Mississippi. We are excited to get to play. Tarleton is going to be a very, very tough opponent. They've added a lot of talent off of already dangerous football team from a year ago. So it's going to be a tough challenge for us, but I think it's a challenge that's going to make us better. And we're excited for it, and hopefully this weather will hold off, and hopefully everybody will come out to support us, and we can have a good crowd there for Saturday. I think it'll be fun to watch these guys play. So we need to play a game. We're at that point in our season. Everybody's tired of hitting on each other, and we're not any different from anybody else. And college football is officially opening up this weekend, and we're glad to be a part of it.
Coach Cooley, as far as just the guys in the practice, just talk about their attitude through the whole thing as far as field work and knowing that they're going to have to play at a different stage.
Well, they don't know that yet. We'll tell them this afternoon. But man, it's been great. I mean, these guys, they'll play wherever we decide to play. You know, if we told them today we're going on the road for the first game, I don't think it would matter to them. They just want to play, and that's the one thing that I like about this group. They've had a great attitude. They've come to work every day. They've enjoyed practicing with each other. They've enjoyed competing, and I think it's a real unique group. We're not as deep as I'd like to be. Obviously, we always like to be deeper, talent-wise, but we've got some really good young players that are stepping up. So we're excited about where we are.
To follow up on that, a couple of the seniors told us the attitude was better this year than last. Is there anything that you can attribute to what's been different this year in terms of morale?
I think it starts with our coaching staff. I think we've got a bunch of great assistant coaches, and we get along really well, and they see us having fun, they see us bonding, and it kind of just trickles over to our family. You know, I think we've got really good senior leadership. I think we're a player-led football team right now, and you know, we're going to see what happens when we get under the gun Saturday, and see what happens when we had some more adversity hit us, but. We've had a lot of adversity so far, so I think we're prepared when that aspect comes to us.
Coach, who are some of the guys that kind of stepped up as leaders this year that you've seen?
Well, the same guys that were leaders last year. They were just underclassmen. Landry Tulo has been a leader ever since he stepped on campus. Chandler Ector has become more of a leader. You got guys like Keith Flanagan, John Cuevas McBride. I feel like George Roberts is more of a leader this year. R.J. Hulse has been a leader. Cam Myers is probably one of the best leaders we've got. So, I think we've got a bunch of guys. LaDarian Peterson. I mean, a bunch of guys that are vested in. I could keep going on. Devontae Wilson. I mean, we just got a bunch of guys that are upperclassmen, a lot of seniors that are they know this is their last go-around, and they want to make the most of it. And they're excited about playing. I'm excited about watching them play.
Coach, you're pretty familiar with Lone Star Conference teams. What type of football should our fans expect to see from the visitors on Saturday?
Oh, they're going to be very talented. They're very big. They've retooled their whole defensive and offensive fronts, and they've gotten a lot bigger. They're going to have a lot of size on both sides of the ball. And I think that if you read the articles that they've been talking about, Coach Witten's a heck of a football coach. He's been doing it a long time, and he's back at Tarleton as a head coach. And last time he was at Tarleton head coach, they were one of the best in the country, and they're trying to build that back. So they'll be physical. They'll be tough. They're going to still have big play capabilities. It ought to be – I just hope we can play with them. If we can hope around and make it a 4-quarter game, hopefully we'll have a shot in the fourth quarter. But it's going to be a tough one.
How has Brett Reddick progressed in practice so far?
Done very well. Him and Colin Willis both have played very well this camp. Second time through with the offense. Spring was his first time through, second time through, getting better. Starting to trust his drops have improved a lot. I think fundamentally he's getting better, making better decisions with the ball. But him and Colin, man, they're I'm happy with those two guys. They push each other every day. They help each other every day, and it's a really good room right there at the quarterback position. So we're excited about both those guys.
How much does it help the confidence of both of your quarterbacks to know that they have a player like Chris Robinson and also some talented freshmen along with Ladarian Peterson in that backfield?
I think anytime that, you can run the ball, it's a quarterback's best friend, and I feel like last year we made big improvements in that aspect. Our problem last year wasn't running the ball and scoring points, obviously, I think that's huge when you can hand it off to a guy that's as good and talented as Chris is and Ladarian is. And you mentioned a couple of freshmen that are going to probably see action. So I think it's big. I think it's because some games you're not on at quarterback for whatever reason, and the teams that can consistently run the ball are really good football teams. So that's where we want to be.
Can you discuss some of the younger guys that have stepped up in camp that maybe some people watching haven't yet found out about?
Well, if you go on offense, Trey Roberson is a freshman that's going to see some time at running back. Gary Fletcher is another freshman at receiver that's going to see some time. Keelan Wilson is another running back. So those are three true freshmen on the offensive side of the ball that are going to contribute, we hope, in a major way. Defensively, we've got some guys that are going to get some playing time. And up front, you got Zach Quarterman, defensive end. You've got Clay Harris, young man, so defensive end is going to see some time as well. A young man that redshirted a year ago that's still a redshirt freshman, Scott Poindexter from right down the road. He's gonna see some time this year as well. He's done a really good job just making himself into a college football player. And on the back end is probably some more of them. You got Deion Watkins. It's a possibility. Shannon Carter. These are guys. Michael Jenkins in the secondary. Ty Woods. There's a lot of them back there that could see significant time. And there's a couple other ones that we're still waiting decisions from the clearinghouse that if they get cleared, then obviously we would play them and dress them and play them this weekend. I don't want to mention those guys right now because they might not make it. So we're just waiting, and a lot of people are in our shoes right now on that. So, but there are several freshmen that we look to contribute for sure.
Do you have any players that are affected by the weather and
we've got one young man from Houston, and I should have mentioned too, Sam Barge, as a freshman specialist, is going to make an impact as well. He's a very talented young man. He's a true freshman that we'll see playing time in his first game. That's a great question, Andy. We haven't, we've got one young man that is from Houston. I talked to him 2 days ago. He said his family's fine. They're okay, and so I was excited about that. But I'm sure this is a major deal that's going on, and our thoughts and prayers are with those people in Houston and down in that part of the world. But I imagine Tarleton's got a few young men that are going to be affected, so our thoughts and prayers go out to them too. So anything else, guys? All right, thank you. Who do y'all want first? Joel? All right, we'll bring up the man, Coach Williams.
Jordan, don't laugh. You and JT ain't no taller.
Coach Williams, as y'all prepare the offense, just kind of preparing for Tarleton State. What are some of the things that kind of concern you about them as y'all are preparing?
Yeah, that's a pretty easy question. When Tarleton has signed 2 of the top junior college defensive linemen in the country. And so basically they have restructured and retooled their entire box, all of their defensive linemen and their linebackers. And so, we got a tough job come Saturday afternoon to try to block them big jokers. And great players. Both of them supposed to be playing big-time Division I football, but evidently there was some things academically that forced them to play Division II, and so that's what we're faced with, that challenge come Saturday afternoon, and been working real hard to try to get that done.
As far as the players on offense, how well have things been coming together as far as learning all the plays and learning all the schemes?
It's like everybody. The first 2 weeks of training camp's always a little bit bumpy, but since we come out of camp, it's really, honed down. They're starting to polish things up. No coach in America on any level thinks you're completely 100% ready, to go into an opening ball game. You kind of let it rip, let it hang out, and see what happens, But we've had good practice, good focus. For us, we always talk about what's important now, whether it's the meeting, the walkthrough, the practice, the film session, whatever it is. And our kids have done a great job of focusing in on that and understanding what's important at that very moment.
Coach, I heard you mention multiple times in the spring and then in fall camp the amount of experience that your group has up front and their maturity and ability. What do you expect out of that group this Saturday and the rest of the season?
It's what I expect out of them, what they expect out of themselves. I got a great group of guys up front. It's an absolute joy to just walk into that meeting room and go on the field with them every day. We talk about this, JT, is that discipline over motivation. Anybody can get all fired up, and that lasts for about a play or two, whether it be a practice or a ball game. And we talk about discipline as doing what you're supposed to do, even when there's not a coach there and that kind of thing looking over you. And so we try to be a very, very disciplined group. They are a veteran bunch. I've got 8 guys that are 22 to 24 years old. We've all been together a long time. Their offensive line coach is older than dirt, and so we kind of all get along together pretty good. And they work really, really hard. I love them to death, and so I expect a lot of great things out of them, but also know how great this challenge is to try to block Tarleton State's front this coming weekend.
How the quarterback battle in camp? You see a lot of Colin. Coach Cooley said Colin played well, and obviously so did Brett. What should we expect on Saturday from your quarterbacks?
Well, the biggest thing we want to do is make sure we're not colorblind. It's not good to be at the quarterback position and be colorblind. But no, they've played really well. They're excited to get out there and play. I'm not going to sit here and tell you everything we're going to do offensively, but they're doing a good job executing all the different phases of things we asked them to do. And we've got a very simple game plan. We probably carry the smallest inventory of offensive plays into a game plan of anybody in the country. We just think that we want to try to do a few things really, really well against anything that you throw at us. I don't think the goal of football is to do things over and over until you get it right. I think the goal of football is to do things over and over until it's impossible to do it wrong. So you keep it simple and let's go to work.
Looking at the receiving core, you've got a lot of returners and some new faces. Who are some guys who want to contribute for the receivers?
All of them. we got a bunch of them. We're going to dress anywhere from 8 to 10 of them, probably closer to 10, maybe 11, and they're all going to get their time. We're a tempo offense, so we got to keep those guys fresh. I hate to always just single out certain guys because we play so many receivers because of the speed of our offense. You can't sit out there and ask them to run a track meet play after play after play. And so we play a bunch of guys, got some old faces, got some new faces, and it'd be interesting to see how some of the young ones react, come game day.
Coach, you've said a lot of times about how fast the tempo is. Coach Cooley talks about it all the time. football team. How much slower is it on game days? Because in practice, it seems like everything's going 100 miles an hour. Is game day a lot slower for the players after the practices are so fast?
No, it's really not. You know, I think the only bunch on our football team, Jerry, I'm going to get into your area for just a second here, but I have to slide over from the defense standpoint. Offensively, the tempo doesn't change, whether it's practice or game. You know, it's pretty much the same deal. The only difference is I tell our guys on game day, there ain't no coaches barking at them in between the snaps. You know, we can't get to them on game day, so they're on their own. I think who it slows down for is our defensive squad, because we go so fast in practice, and there's not many people that go the tempo that we do, and I think it really slows down maybe for Jerry's side of the football a little bit on game day.
We talked about Chris Robinson, an incredible season last year. Are the expectations even higher for him?
He expects that. You know, I don't know if it's right as a coach to expect more, but because you got to know Chris. I mean, golly, the guy he works all the time. He's into it, whether it be a film session, whether it be a walkthrough, whether it be practice, where blitz pickup, inside period. The guy is just always there, and he's always fighting for more reps. We're always having to pull him up, Chris, let's make sure you're on the bus. You'll be ready to go Saturday, you know? And he's that kind of guy. And so I think anything you talk about expectations of Chris Robinson, you got to ask Chris that. I mean, because there's no way I could expect any more, and I know I won't get any less because of just the way he approaches each and every day.
Coach Partridge, just kind of looking at Tarleton State offensively, what are some of the things that y'all are preparing for on defense from there?
Game one is always difficult to figure out exactly what's going to happen. You know, you have some video maybe that you've fallen into that you've watched from the year before, and you can game plan what you've seen based on last year, but everybody tweaks a little something. So you kind of got to base on that a little bit. You got to have an idea of who's coming back, what personnel they like, who's good, who's not. Also the fact that we've seen that they've signed some junior college O-linemen too. They're gigantic. I think we'll see from anywhere from 4 wides to 3 wides, maybe even play 2 tight ends and play some smash mouth with us. So you have to be prepared for every bit of it. Both their quarterbacks that played 2 last year are back. They both extend plays well. They're both quick-footed. I don't necessarily think they're 4.40 guys, but they're guys that can make some plays. And when they scramble, they're not necessarily looking to run with it. They're looking to get their eyes down the field and throw it. I think the strength of their football team, based on what they're saying, is the receivers. They look big and strong and athletic, and they're going to be a challenge for us. So, just got to be prepared for everything. And as you can tell, I'm up there in age too, like our previous coach that was up here, and I've seen a few things. I've seen a few first games, and so you have to be ready for everything.
As far as the players on defense, and how has everybody just kind of adjusted to you and you've adjusted?
Oh, it's been awesome. I've known some people that knew Coach Cooley, and we're very fortunate to have Coach Cooley and myself connect and come down here. And first of all, I was really pleased with just the talent level and the people on the staff, and especially on the defensive side, who I get to work with closely every day. And then just the way the kids have embraced it and played. They play so hard. I mean, that's the thing I've noticed. When they get out there, they practice so very, very hard, and just they fly around, and I like the speed. I've coached linebackers for 15, 16 years, and I always speak glowingly of the kids I'm coaching. I'm fortunate to coach, but I think that Tulo and Hector are 2 of the best inside linebackers I've gotten to coach in 20 years, and that says a lot.
Since you've gotten here in the spring, what type of attitude or mentality have you tried to put with the defensive side of the football?
Just any defense that we've ever coached, it's the same thing. You get lined up. We can't be so complicated that they bust. They're going to bust some, and sometimes it's good to bust because it makes the offense think that's what you're running. But get lined up, play as hard as you can, destruct blocks, be a team that leverages the ball, swarm the ball, and tackle. And then we want to be a takeaway defense. So those are things every time you go out, you give it your all for, 22, 20 periods, whatever it is, and at the end, you try to get better the next day. Their tempo, on offense at practice, everything we do is fast, and it's been good for me. Every time we've game planned a team with some tempo, it always concerns me. And in fact, we fouled it up at times. And Joel talked about it's going to be slower for us game day wise. I'm afraid of that a little bit because I may have too much time on my hands to think about the call. I may change the call 3 times or something. So it's been, I think the tempo itself has made our kids play faster and play more focused and always turn on to the next play, regardless if it was a great play or a bad play. It's always about the next play.
Have there been any challenges in the transition, anything that you maybe didn't anticipate in terms of this new defense?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we're running very, very similar to what we were running anyway last year. We're going to be a multiple defense. I mean, I think this day and age, you have to be able to do all of it. You have to have I'm a 4-man front guy. I've always been a 4-man front guy, and I've grudgingly been a guy that doesn't pressure a whole lot. And so any of our 4-man front principles, it'll sometimes look like it's 4-2-5, sometimes it's a 4-3 look. And I think every defense in America has some 3-man front stuff that they do, especially in get off the field mode. So, I've been about everything as a coach down through the years, and so the biggest thing is not to get too complicated. And at times when they're starting, they'll tell you whether you're too complicated or not. If they're busting mentally and they're just not playing fast anymore, then you got too much in. However, I always tell the kids, if you're doing it wrong, at least do it fast because you got a chance to make it work.
When you came in and saw, looking at last year's defense, what was the biggest thing you looked to change or alter?
Jordan, really, I didn't look to change anything, just play. I watched some of it. I watched last year a little bit, but I was more worried about letting whatever happened last year, whatever players last year, whatever opinions were. I didn't want to have a preconceived thing coming in. I want to coach them and see what they could do. And we gave them numerous tasks to do through the spring so I could measure what we need to do, and I've done that through the August camp too. So, to hear it said, I think we got to quit giving up, big pass plays, but that's going to happen some. That's just, it's one of the toughest positions there are in all sports, playing defensive back, especially if you're asking them to cover man-to-man or something like that. So it's going to be difficult at times. And, the South is different than what it was 25, 30 years ago. South used to signify Southern football was smash mouth, get after it. Now it's spread it out, throw it all over the yard. And I'm anxious to see what this is all about down here. I've been in a league where we had multiple things too, but it was more about the manliest man on the block kind of stuff. And this is going to be different where it's still going to be physical. I'm anxious to see week in and week out what the Gulf South represents. And we get to do a Lone Star team right off the bat, too. That's going to be fun to see what they got.
Coach, you mentioned earlier about working with your other defensive coaches. How has it been working with coaches such as Kelvin Green and just kind of elaborate on that a little bit more?
Very difficult men to get along with. I think everybody that knows them knows that in the room, especially the Green guy. And Thompson's very angry. No, they're great young coaches. I like them a lot, and it was very fast that I knew it was a good thing. I know Coach was maybe a little concerned because I know they both have aspirations too, and it was real easy, real quick. I called them both from my home in St. Joseph when a day after Coach Cooley offered me the job, and just said, hey, I can't wait to get down there. And they're both the same. And ever since, we've just been, all three of us have really hit it off. And we got a great team over there. I'm anxious to see this happen in the game. And I'm going to be in the box. And I'm not one of those guys. I haven't been on a box in forever. I don't know what I'm going to do with my nervous energy. I think I walk 4 miles a game, I'm pretty sure, pacing the sidelines. Now I don't know where I'm going to go. I may beat up on Joel. And you see Joel, too. That might be difficult to do. But there won't be a whole lot of room up there. But it's, I'm very at ease knowing that what Jesse and Kelvin will do on the sideline motivationally. And they'll have those kids really charged up and playing hard down there. All right, thanks.